Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Lessons Known Classics. This is episode number 3127, Doubleshot number 3021. First was, now basically we have two Marvel trades. One is a Hulk related trade, the other is an X-Men related trade. The Hulk related trade is from She-Hulk. This is sadly a book that collects the second to most recent thing that was released for her, like, last year. This is She-Hulk by Rainbow Volume 4, Jen-Sational, which collects the first... Well, technically it collects issues 1, 3, and 4 of Sensational She-Hulk, Volume 2. It collects the opening story of issue 2. Now, why in the world they decided to relaunch She-Hulk Volume 2 after only releasing 15 issues is a complete mystery to me. Yeah, I do not know what was the reason for this, because it is the same thing with Moon Knight, where they were on set. That was over 30 issues. Which, fun fact, the first volume of Moon Knight lasted that long since the volume for the mid-2000s, which is an amazing volume, by the way. Picking Finch's Moon Knight was weird, but this says She-Hulk perfectly fine. So, yeah. Ray Rao does writing, of course, obviously. We have Andreas Gennett, who does the first 3 issues, and issues, issue 3, and then basically goes by itself for the remaining issues. The cover for these issues is done by... who does these amazing covers? Okay, so She-Hulk's covers is done by Jen Bartel. I think this person, I think she does pretty much all 10 covers. Yeah. By the way, this volume lasted for 10 issues. Yep, 10 issues. Oh yeah, she was the artist from the previous She-Hulk book. I'm glad they kept her on as basically the cover artist, but she was sad to leave after issue number 7. I don't really know the reason for this, but that's just what happened there. So, in these few issues here, we open up with Jen making out with a boyfriend, Jack of Hearts. Like, ooh, have a good time making out with Jack of Hearts. I'm like, you lucky bastard, get this beautiful woman basically your girlfriend. Then she goes off to work, helps the construction workers out, and then see Mallory Brooke hanging out with Awesome Andy the android. Awesome Andy. Yeah, and then he meets up with... Then we have a meeting with... Well, in her office, which I think is still the closet from the previous book, where she's with 2 deviants. One was kicked out for being too ugly, the other was being too good looking. So, they chat for a bit of time about their style being deviants. And then we see Titania getting into an argument with the Thing. Because Fight Club between the two of them. Of course, you also have Volcana here too. And then Jack of Hearts shows up here too. And of course you have Mary basically chastising her husband. He absorbed an atomic bomb. Yeah, it's not like she chastises him, she still loves him because basically I'm like, Crusher, you are a lucky bastard. Because you have this a beautiful woman be your wife. Titania. Second Titania, because the first one became Lucius. Volcano for some reason became a bit chubby over the years. Also, she apparently was, they mentioned here she previously did Molecule Man, which that didn't go anywhere much after the 80s. Then we have Jack of Hearts fighting Absorber Man, and everything's all good, but basically, I'm juiced up. Because this whole thing is about absorbing nuclear radiation for some reason. And then Jen's cousin the Hulk shows up. Yep, he shows up here. And he's here because, oh, you've been following her. She's like, what are you talking about? You're like, Like, I'm not Banner, and of course they think he's gone, but really he's not. And it turns out there's drones following her, and also threatens menace, aka Nora Winters pop up here. A character who, prior to this, had not appeared very much. Yeah, here's the thing with Nora. Prior to this book, she didn't do much. I mean, she was technically created to be Marvel's version of either Lois Lane or Cat Grant. At one point, this woman licked Peter Parker's cheek. Yes, I am not kidding about that. She seriously did that. But prior to this book, she last appeared in an issue of Red Goblin. I appeared in this issue here too, in issue 4. She has appeared in publication since, and she's basically, your next appearance was in a digital comic. Yeah, and by the way, her first non-Spider-Man appearance she's made in years. Like, the last time she appeared in a non-Spider-Man comic was when she appeared during, believe it or not, Greg Rucka's run for Punisher. That was when she was working for Daily Bugle. By the way, she got fired from Daily Bugle because she was dating Phil Urich, who turned out to be Hobgoblin. Yeah, because she dated a criminal, they fired her for it, and now she's working 13 minutes. That was something that Nick Spencer set up during his run. They're kind of like an online agency, that online website. And of course, you have Jen fighting her cousin, like they're talking about her wedding. And then we have this character swap in the previous book, took some of her blood. And of course, Hulk thinks that she gave her blood away. She didn't. They stole her blood. And this lasts for the next few issues. It's April and Mark Ruth. Yeah, they debuted in the previous book for She-Hulk. And they're back here for a couple issues. And after these 2 issues here, they're done. Yeah. Last time they appear, unless somehow some writer decides to include them in a book after this. Yeah, so as for Hulk himself, he leaves the book right after issue 3. After wrapping up this whole story here with this. And of course, this is the same version that appears in Philip Kennedy Johnson's Incredible Hulk. Which, I gotta appreciate the fact that the writers basically at Marvel told, hey, can you make the Hulk consistent all with books and you make guest person? Sure, why not? And then we have where Mallory is basically just watching news, and Tony's watching with Carol. And then issue 4 is, because of the Rampage previous issue, let's have Jen, Captain Marvel, Patsy Walker, and after basically every day, and of course hanging out with her boyfriend kind of stood her up. So Patsy, her best friend, who's been a constant recurring character since, of course, the Charles Shaw book. So these two, along with Carol, decide to go hang out in a club, and then demons show up. Yes, demons. And but yeah, by the way, this is like in the first 5 issues, and then of course with Captain Marvel here is like, and then oh crap, demons. You're thinking, oh no, because it's Patsy Walker. Those are awesome ex-husbands show up here. Damian Hillstrom. Yes, he does. Yes, he shows up here. He's like, oh hi Patsy. She's like, Damian. And his whole thing is like, I know you want me, and she's like, yeah, I know. And I just came back on my throne. We had been talking to her for a while. Yeah, as a matter of fact, the last time I saw these two saw each other, she's like, in my hardcover book, my book, I'm going to chapter, and I'm still not over you. And he's like, make it 2 chapters. Done. Yes, seriously, she is not over him at all. She's still in love with David Hillstrom. The only reason they're divorced because of the whole thing of because she died. And now she's back. And you have Jen basically talking to Jack of Hearts, which they actually bring up the events of Disassembled here. Which, you read this by the way, also, they mentioned the whole thing in the previous issue about, her cousin David has now become a dentist. Her cousin David appeared in a one-shot story from our fanfare, number 48. A guy by the name of David Pike, who was basically her father's, basically his mother is his father's sister, and this guy who's basically was like a big bodybuilder is now a dentist. So I found this quite fascinating with the whole thing with Jen bringing up the events of Disassemble to Jack of Hearts. Because I would have never thought the Rimmer would ever touch this. The whole thing with Disassembled. I never thought that she would ever bring this up, but she did. And it was halfway through the run. Mentioned he went crazy, only with Scott Lang. Like, she went crazy and basically ripped apart the vision that's brought up here. And of course then they make out and it's like, don't tell me, like, during nuclear warhead. And then it's like, then we cut to a favor. Yes, a favor. You're thinking, wait, a favor? Where is this from? Is this from... You're thinking, where the heck is this from? This favor story. Let's see if I can find him here. I don't think this is this guy here. Okay, this actually is from the backup story from issue 1. That's kind of what this is. This story is here. It's basically her with her friend Lucius, because I was curious where the heck this is from. So, yeah, Favor is actually from, of course, she hangs with construction workers. And then the story ends with her having a superhero shows up. And who is this superhero that shows up at the very end of the book? Lucius, of course, like, is an old friend of hers, and apparently they went to college together. Now, you're probably thinking, like, I thought it was issue 1, but apparently, like, I'm not sure why in the world that the Raymond Rao wrote backup feature for She-Hulk. I don't know the reason for this. It's kind of weird. But great issues. Love this book. I give it I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. That was really good. And with these issues also, for the She-Hulk internal numbering, for these 5 issues alone, these are issues She-Hulk 179 to 183. And Sally Book ran 5 issues. Yes. Don't know why, but that's kind of how it is. Oh, they do have another feature here. Oh, this is the YYF book. Okay, they do contain the backup feature issue 2. Okay, I forgot about that. So, this is the story I mentioned, the one thing about her cousin, of course, about Battlestar. And that's it. So they do contain the first 5 issues. Interesting. Yep. But I did enjoy this book. I did. So, next book is basically going to be Jen X-Men by Stevie Fox. Yep. Where, by the way, for some reason, this app does not have the cover. They basically show the interior cover for some reason. Yeah. This book is like, I think it's like 5 issues, I'm mistaken. It's, 4 issues. It's a 4-issue miniseries by Stevie Fox. One of 2 miniseries he does for the X-Men franchise. The other being Dark X-Men. I love Dark X-Men. That was amazing. This book has several artists on it. The first issue alone has got 1, 2, 3 artists in the first issue. You have Bernard Chang, Vanessa Canary, and Jonas Sav. And these 3 guys do issue 1. Bernard Chang is the main artist for the whole 4 issues. Vanessa Canary the first issue 4. Peter Dugan issue 2 with, of course, Grandma's Son issue 2. 3 and 4 is done by 3 different artists: David Bolden, Lynn Hauschy, and Jalapeno. 4 has all 3 artists as well. The cover art is done by Lucas Warnock. So, basically, the core is gone, and we have Prodigy, Frenzy, Jubilee, Dazzler, and Cannonball. Characters are still alive now because Dazzler recently had a miniseries, and Frenzy is an X Factor. So they're basically awakened alive in the future, where Rage is one. And get this, the lead of the X-Men is Abigail Brand, director of Sword. Yeah. So they revived you in the future. They don't know how they got here. So basically it's them trying to overcome the whole thing related to future stuff and also find a way to get back to the present, alive and well. That's kind of the Justice miniseries. Do they get back to the present? Oh yeah, they do. Because of course, basically, the book has to basically end with him like saying, "Oh yeah, next time was going to be like the Rise Power Act number 3." They also with Barbara Taggart here, one of the versions of her. This is version 2.4. Yeah. And the Sarah Demers were comprised of Smasher, who is basically Josiah Gertrude, a.k.a. Cannonball's son. Future version of Juggernaut and Sunspot, who is an old man here. They also have Crew No Place X. It's a really interesting miniseries. I like the whole idea of them in the future like this. And the group is... Yeah, we even have version X-Men 5. From the more 5. You could kind of think of this book as the dead X-Men exploring multiple timelines before they finally get back to prison. That's kind of the Justice miniseries. We have debut here of Ultra 7 from Mora 7 Earth. Yeah. It's, like I said, it's really cool. Like the first issue, Ray Thomas joins the crew of No Place X. Yeah, their appearance in this book is quite interesting because they're kind of basically the guiding force led by Xavier before he turned evil. Yeah, and they appeared in this book alongside appearing in the Rise Powers of X, the main book for that one issue, X-Men Forever. Basically kind of like a side group comprised of Professor Xavier, Mr. Sinister, I think it's the main one, Rachel Summers, Rasputin the Fourth, and Mother Righteous. Of these people, Mother Righteous is dead. She got killed off in Gary Duncan's last issue for X-Men. Rasputin the Fourth is still very much alive. Though if you're curious, did she do anything now? No. They kind of mostly put retired on the character. Rachel Summers, I believe she's in one of the X books now. She is an X-Force. That's basically where she is. Mr. Sinister, however, he's still very much alive, but he's not active right now. Yeah, he's not... I don't think he's appeared lately, per se. Well, after the whole thing of Fall of X, he does appear in he did appear in an issue of Sabretooth Dead Don't Talk as the Flashback book, and Apocalypse, and he also appears in Exceptional X-Men. But at least he's still appearing. Xavier is gone from the X books. But as for what happened to the members themselves, Frenzy, of course, is an X Factor, obviously. Prodigy, they have a whole thing where he basically had his limiters removed for a mission. He, of course, is he back with the X-Men? Per se? Well, he basically, for some reason, he dumped the MIX. That's where he appeared lately. Dazzler had a miniseries and a one-shot recently. But what about Jubilee herself? Is she on any team right now? She is part of Gail Simone's The Kenny X-Men book. What about Cannonball? Cannonball, I think he might be on the main team of X-Men. Let me take a look here by this one. He is not active. Yeah, he's the only one active, which is interesting. Everyone else is. Yeah. But, Really good miniseries. So, I'm out of there. And by the way, as in the case of the core books themselves, with this, I now have 2 books left to go: Bishop War College and X-Men Forever. After that, I would finally be done with the Krakoa era for X-Men. Yep. By the way, I give the X-Men a 9 out. This book was a lot of fun. Yep. So yeah, that's it for the particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. There might be a video coming if Diamond gets released today. If not, well, probably just in our comment corner. Okay, next video. Bye.